And as it stands, Wiper insiders are accusing their leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, of concealing details about this power-sharing agreement from the party. And that's a story that continues on page 8 of the paper. But let's begin first with your thoughts on the entire major announcement, the NASA flag bearer now being Raila Odinga.
Well, first, I think I wouldn't call it an announcement extraordinaire because it is something that any keen observer would have anticipated because of all the principles, 4 initially and 5 at the 11th hour. One would realize that it's Raila Odinga who has got that which would have propelled an electric election period. And when you come to, in fact, a party amongst the coalition partners, the party that has got the strength, the stamina, the money, the national outlook and feel, it's ODM. So it would have been a little strange to have any other person, even if it's for mathematical purposes, because still really one would have strongly anticipated ODM to have a strong showing. But it's okay now that it came. Question is now, how are they going to make sure that this kind of coalition, this time round, possibly brings the victory that has been so much yearned for? And when you look at it, one challenge that remains for them, for NASA, as it has been in the past, is that voter turnout will determine how this thing goes. Because look at it, for example, from these nominations that have been conducted throughout the country by the parties. You realize that the turnout in Jubilee strongholds is a little higher than the turnout in NASA strongholds. And so I think even though now Raila Odinga is the presidential candidate for NASA, they need to find a way of working the magic into August.
Right. And of course, now we're seeing all these fallouts or cracks rather arising. Kalonzo Musyoka, however, has dismissed these allegations as just mere propaganda. Francis Nyenze coming out once again saying we were waylaid, we were betrayed. As far as we're concerned, Kalonzo Musyoka up until the last minute was to become the flag bearer of the opposition. So that being said, and we've seen the likes of David Musila, who's left the party. We've seen Johnston Muthama, who's expressed a lot of disappointment and frustration. And so should Kalonzo really be betrayed or so to speak, or left alone by his team? What does that mean for what he brings on the table for NASA? Nelson.
Well, it has now been spoken on behalf of the Kamba community, and the message that has been conveyed to Honorable Nyenze and Musila is that Honorable Kalonzo is not a Kamba chief, and they do not speak for him. And look, if you look at the individuals like Nyenze and Musila, these are people who have been in politics for a very long period of time. I think they may correctly be referred to as slow-punctured vehicles in the convoy of Honorable Kalonzo. Kalonzo still has formidable allies and foot soldiers who still have a lot of energy and strength. Look at Mutula Kalonzo Jr., look at Maanzo. These are the individuals who have said, look, we are satisfied with the bargain we're given. And people need to differentiate between hopes and expectations. Right. Much as the Kamba community, as spoken for by Nyenze and Musila, may have hoped for something bigger, I think the legitimate expectation of what has come to be is the reality. Yes.
And of course, we've had a lot of reactions from even the Jubilee side giving their thoughts on this NASA lineup that was unveiled. And of course, President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto saying, this is no mean feat for us. We're going to win. Tutashinda asubuhi. That's what they said. But of course, they're not going to say any lineup was going to be too difficult.